Well, would you look at that? Got the wrong intro playing in the beginning of Get the Effing Phone podcast. This is it. We are now on YouTube. This is Get the Effing Phone. I'm your host, Larry Braz. I'm joined today by Tony Hannides of Lazy Tech Guys, LazyTechTV on YouTube. As you guys over at YouTube, our new home, know the folks over there at LTG. One Like to Play has been pretty big on Twitch. If you come from twitch.tv/One Like to Play, we welcome you over to YouTube, where we've been housing all of our archives and doing our Time to Play series, along with a lot of just chatter, gaming talk, and everything like that. So, Tony, how's it been going for you over there? Okay. Oh, nice. Okay. Oh yeah, we'll be sure to get that retweeted over on One Like to Play as well. I'm interested in checking out. I was thinking about buying that game, but I ended up buying um, my annual thing. I'll get to it in Around the Room. But anything else new for you? I actually have some good news. It's not around the room, but I got a new turtle. Yeah, I got a little baby one. Yeah, so we're filling the tank out here. uh, it's good enough. Like right now, I mean, it's a 40-gallon tank, and I've got an 8-inch turtle in it now. Her name is Jade, and we added a baby red ear slider to the mix. My son has named her JoJo, but she's only about an inch and a half big right now, maybe 2 inches. Um, who's JoJo? Oh, Casey and from Jodeci, yeah, from Jodeci. But yeah, so this is a female. We had to make sure we got a female because we didn't want, yeah, just in case. When we found out that Jade was not, we originally named Jade Michelangelo, but I guess pulled a Bruce Jenner on us, and it was a female. So yeah, I guess so. Much cheaper and less publicity. So not a lot of noise around it, but we did rename it to Jade, and we just don't want to make sure, or we want to make sure that we don't fertilize the eggs next season. So we had to make sure we got ourselves a female this time around too. But we are trying to fill out the tank. They're getting along now. At the beginning, Jade did a lot of biting of JoJo, but I guess that was going to be natural. Kind of you got to lay that dominance down. It's the dominance. But now, yeah, but it's pretty funny. Like, okay, when Jay gets up to bask on the rock, that's what I have to extend. I have to extend the whole basking area. And right now I only have one light, so I think I need to get a dual light or a rod light. But so it was one morning I come downstairs and it looked so cute. I couldn't even get my phone out fast enough. Jade is on top of the basking rock with JoJo right next to her, and just a flipper is just like right on top of JoJo's shell. So it's like, Jade was there just kind of like holding JoJo, overnight, and they were both just sleeping there. But they heard me and they came down and they immediately moved. As soon as Jade moved, she just like kicks JoJo right between the rocks. So JoJo's upside down between the rocks, like what? So yeah, that was pretty hilarious. But they're good along now, so everything's pretty good. Yep. So let's see here. I guess it's time for Around the Room. We might as well just pop right into it, right? Do I have Around the Room on here? I don't even know if I do. Around the room. Around the room. Let's see if we let me see if I can get that in here really quick. Oh, I think I got a way. I could do it. This I can do. I've got this. No, I don't have it. Wait, is it over here? It might be here. No, it's not there. It might be here. I got one more place to check. Oh, I found it. I found it. Okay, turn chat off. Get ready for around the room. That's not it. That didn't do it. Position, fit the screen. Edit scene. Fit to screen. Yeah, we got it here. We got it. Nope, that's still not it. Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone. We'll do that next week. We'll put the chat back up. Okay, so around the room, like I said, your guys been playing Metal Gear Solid, the Phantom Pain. You have to play to find out. Yeah. Yeah. They didn't have that. What? That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's pretty. That what, and that's the thing I said, a couple episodes ago about this game. By the way, episode 26. Welcome. But I said that a couple episodes ago. Everything that was about that made Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain special, we saw over like the last 6-7 months. It started with Ground Zeroes, and then like every preview of that game was like an hour and a half, 2 hours long. At one point, it was 3 hours of a preview of that game. There was nothing in that game. Yeah, there was just nothing in that game that was going to be a surprise. Now, from what I've read so far, some things in Mad Max were a pretty big surprise to the way Mad Max works. But also, it plays hand in hand from what I read. The things that we didn't know about Mad Max makes Mad Max pretty boring. Pretty much a game I do not want to be playing. You are pretty much stuck out there. But yeah, we did have that question on what would you be playing? What would you rather, invest your money in? Was it going to be Phantom Pain or Mad Max? And a lot of people were really big on getting Mad Max because they knew what Phantom Pain was all about. And it kind of, I guess, lends hand in hand to what, the previews of the game, you already knew what it was all about outside of just knowing what the series was about as a whole. But what Mad Max was presenting was going to be something new. And it seems to be a new take of doing RPGs in maybe a Japanese style, but not really a, what can I say, an open world Americanized style. So like they wanted open world, but they wanted JPRG in it in some sense. So it's really, really weird because it's open. It is so far removed from the natural look of like, this is what you do, this is what you have to do, this is what you have to do, and just let you go do whatever. Don't like that. That's 2008 Nick Cody. You gotta differentiate him from the 2007 other Nick Codys. Yeah. He's a 2008 Nick Cody. Now granted he may be the best of the 2000 plus Nick Codys, but there he is. 2011 Nick Cody. Ooh, we haven't met him yet. We haven't met him yet. Distant relative, future relative. We'll stick with 2008. But yeah, so instead of buying Metal Gear Solid, Phantom Pain, or getting Mad Max, I decided to stick to my chops, and I went and bought Madden NFL 16. Am I bad for that? Is that a bad? Okay. Yeah. I'm a little disappointed. I probably should have had some patience and just waited for Forza 6 next week. But Madden just looks so damn good. Like, it really looks good. Yeah, there's nothing. There's a lot of. I actually wrote a list. There's a lot of bad things I could say about Madden. And we'll save that for our gaming section. Our gaming time. I'll give my top 6 things wrong with Madden 16. That I kind of feel are there that could have been fixed. Don't know if they can still be fixed now, but they should be fixed in next year's game if they get the license again. I guess that's still up in the air. They were allowed to do this year, even though the license supposedly ended. I would love to see how they continue on with Madden, especially with them having, EA Sports as a whole having a lot of focus in FIFA nowadays, and also coming back with their live series and the live franchise. What do they do with Madden? And I guess there's talks of going back to NCAA. If they could figure out that whole player agreement. So with Madden's contract coming up, I would be interested to see what EA decides to do. But for me, that's pretty much all I've been playing, outside of some, Rocket League, of course. Who doesn't play some Rocket League? PS4. hmm It for me, broadcasting on YouTube solves a lot of problems for what we've experienced over our growth over these past 5 years. We had to find a way. We were trying to find ways to build a community. We wanted to find ways to auto archive our shows. Even if it wasn't auto archive, we just had to have a way to archive those shows. And we wanted to make it easier for viewers to interact with our shows, whether we're online or offline. Twitch is there. Twitch was great for a while. Even before that, we used Ustream. Before that, we self-hosted. But what YouTube Gaming now provides and don't get me wrong, we've had, being a partner on YouTube actually right now, our channel, we've had the ability to do live events on YouTube. It's just never been as easy to do it with the introduction of YouTube Gaming. It just gives us a way to one-click live, control it all on our end. No need to have to set up events or do any pre-production work. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it just was never the same, because one thing that I've learned about when we do stream is we do have preset things that we stream, and during these live events, if you had a schedule that what we wanted to was going to be as various as ours, providing a podcast on one day, a time to play on another day, a how-to on a different day, how we wanted to schedule our events, we could have done that. But when we wanted to do something impromptu or live, there really wasn't that ability to do that in YouTube. And that's what we kind of lean on Twitch for, especially for time to plays. But what YouTube provides is a way just to do that all at once and change things on the fly. Like, I can literally change the metadata of this stream right now on the fly, and it would be live. It was possible on Twitch, but it was a little harder to do, especially when you talked about people finding your channel, how it was found, and under what game and category and things like that it was found. This just makes the community a lot richer, a lot easier tools for both us and the viewer. So we just like it. I like it all around. I want to know what you guys think about streaming on YouTube Gaming. What do you guys think of the stream so far? Any suggestions, comments, or questions, anything that you guys got out there? We definitely want to hear that. You can pop it in the comments or the chat room, which is still pretty awesome, because you get pretty much everything you got from Twitch. Or you can hit us up on Twitter at One Life to Play. You see that right on the side there. Or if you want to talk to Tony specifically, that's at LazyTechGuys on Twitter. And you can find all the past stuff on YouTube at One Like to Play, and some Lazy Tech guys on LazyTechTV on YouTube. So that's basically been it for me for gaming. There's just that Rocket League and still playing Madden 16. I am about 6 weeks into my franchise, and I wanted to get a little bit better before I showed you guys. So I do plan on streaming some Madden. Everybody's been asking me, like, I see it on your activity feed on Xbox, but how come you ain't been streaming it? Like, what's up to Madden? So yeah, I'll stream some Madden later this week and this weekend, and you can always catch me on some Rocket League on PS4. Tony, what have you been gaming? And if not gaming, obviously, I'd love to hear about the toys you've had some time to play with over the past week. Toy. Oh, I should have known. I should have known. They're just cool. They're just cool anyway, right? It's cool. Oh, wow. Yeah. What's it called? Star Wars? They can't hear you? Can't hear Tony. Oh, I see that. Oh, has it been like this the whole time? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, let's see something. Oh, that just sucks. I can hear you. Let me see if I did something wrong here. I actually see right now your volume's not up. Yeah, let me see why. Skype call. Yep, I can hear myself. But obviously you can't hear yourself. Yeah, give us just a second. I thought we had a good start, and then this entire time you just been just going like this. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, thanks, Marty. Let's see. We got microphone. We got desktop audio device. Okay. You got stock market updates? Nice. Nice. Oh, I see why I'm having issues. Stand by. Okay, so this will actually have to be a video that I spliced together. Because now you are back. You are back in effect, Tony. So, hey,
Marty,
welcome.
can you confirm?
This
Please
is
confirm,
One Like to
Marty.
Play live. Yeah. So, I know I see you now because your volume level is actually going up. I don't know why I didn't pay attention to your sound level.
Okay, I can hear myself in the stream. Okay, we're good. All right, awesome. So as I was saying, so for those of you who saw but didn't hear, here are some of the toys that you can get if you want, and go to Target. I don't know if I don't think they're Target exclusive by any means, but I'm looking to get the BB-8 droid by Sphero. Although it is only something that I'm probably going to play with like once a month or whatever. But it's just one of those things, man. You know, for me, that is the new iconic astromech. I just I want to be that nerd to have it. But then Target has a bigger one for only $70. And instead of being controlled by your smartphone, it's controlled by RC, but it's not as fast. But it's bigger. Like the actual ball of it is a little bit bigger than a softball. Whereas the Sphero is just about the size of a softball, if not a tiny bit smaller. So those are the quandaries that I have to deal with. And
that's what I'm thinking. Like this,
these are the
Star Wars fan problems.
These are the things that go through my that's a hashtag right there for you. But so I've been kind of trying to increase my collection of Star Wars memorabilia and things of that nature. Another thing, like I mentioned earlier in the show, I got a chance to go test out the new Robin by Nextbit. What really makes this Android phone different is that it really utilizes the cloud a lot smarter. So, Larry, you and I have phones where we can swap out memory cards and we can remove memory and things like that. But when we run out of memory on our phone, we have to proactively delete stuff from our phone, and we have to proactively decide what do we want to be deleted from our phone.
Yep.
What Nextbit does is they give you your own private cloud, 100 gigabytes for free, and it will automatically offload not only photos and videos, but also apps onto the cloud. So, for example, I have an app on my phone here, which is a photography app, which is called Pick, Play, Post. It makes a grid of photos and videos, and I'll use it maybe once a month to post pictures of me in the gym and doing other things. But yeah, I'm one of those guys. Sorry.
But, I saw your break one.
Yeah. But I only use it once in a while. And although it's only taking up maybe a few megabytes on my phone, it's still megabytes. And I could use that for other things. And so the idea is the Nextbit Robin will notice my habits and will say, okay, we're going to take these 5 apps and offload them to the cloud. And they will still have icons on your phone. They're not going to be uninstalled, but they're not going to take up room on your phone. And so thusly, you would have more room to take more pictures and take more video, or even install other applications. Now, in the event that you need to re-download that application, you can do that on the fly as well too. So it's an interesting idea. I'm not sure if overall it's really gonna pan out.
And this is all built into the phone?
It's built into the phone. It's proprietary software that's built into the phone.
Okay. So
it's Android. It's Android. You get access to the Google Play services like Gmail and Google, Google Store and things like that. But this particular thing of the cloud, that's specific to this phone itself. Now, that's not to say you can't use OneDrive and you can't use Google Drive. You can still use those other clouds if you wanted to, but this would just do it where you don't have to think about it. It just offloads it for you.
How much is this phone retail?
Well, it's Kickstarter, right? So.
Oh, okay.
The early birds got it for $349. If you try and get it right now, you can get it for $399.
Okay.
But think about that. That's not a lot.
Yeah.
That's really not a lot for a non-contracted phone. That's really not that bad.
Is GSM or CDMA?
Yeah. So it will work on AT&T and T-Mobile.
Okay.
And the camera I wasn't able to test out, but I will say this: it's light as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if that's a good thing. I mean, it really kind of feels like a toy. Like, like with your daughter, you give them a fake phone to kind of play around with.
Yeah.
Or like this, where is it? This thing.
Is it almost?
This is a fake phone that, of the Galaxy S6 Edge. There's a fake, just to kind of show you what the phone looks like and everything.
Yeah.
And it has it has metal in here to kind of mimic the weight of the phone.
Right.
It's lighter than this, and it's like when I held it, like, whoa! I was expecting it to be heavier. Now I'm like even extra scared.
Did it have it? Did it have its true battery in, or was it connected to something to run?
No, it had its true battery.
is it a you know what kind of battery I like? Is it a removable battery?
No. No, so there's no removable storage. But again, that's the ancient kind of methodology of using phones.
Yeah,
You don't
that's
need
what they
removable
say.
storage. I mean, and I again on my Nexus 6, I got used to that. You don't need removable storage. You
Yeah.
just it'll on the Robin, it'll just offload things. So
See,
there's
I'm so thinking about giving up the Note 5 or giving up the G4 and getting. You see, I got the new leather cover, the red one.
oh, you got it in. Look at
Yeah,
you.
but yeah, I've been thinking about giving up the G4 to get the Note 5, but I just cannot bring myself away from the metal battery, or I mean the
I'm sure you
removable
could
battery.
do. I
can't do it. I can't do it.
I was in your shoes, dude. I was in your shoes because I went from a Note 4 to the Nexus 6.
So one thing,
And some people would say that was a downgrade, and I got to agree with them on a lot of points. But I got used to not having to worry about the memory, the lack of memory removable, and even the battery. Like I'm not really worried about having to change out the battery anymore.
yeah, the one
That's
thing
not
I
really
got used
started-
to was the GeForce Quantum View. You know, I played around. I stood in the store for nearly like 40 minutes playing around with the Note 5, trying to decide. And when I started looking at the Quantum View, you know, close enough, the angled screen or the curved screen in the G4, I realized I do like the screen output on a G4.
Yeah. No, the G4 does have a really good panel.
Yeah.
The thing about with the Note 5, I mean, the Super AMOLED panels are very they tend to be overly contrasted. You know, like it's even more truer to life than any color that it really is. Like you take a picture of your red cover,
Yeah.
of your Surface, it'll be even more red than the real red is. It's like, oh, whoa, that's so like HDR like, and like, well, it is, but some people don't like that, you know.
True.
But hey, to each their own. I also got a chance to review something that's kind of mundane, but it was kind of fun. This USB cable. Yay, USB cables. They're fun. So this USB cable, what's unique about this one is not only does it have micro USB connection, but you also can fit it into this adapter, so then it's a lightning connection. So then the argument of, hey, where's a cable for my iPhone and for my Note? It's right here.
Wow. I need something like that. I think I saw one that had iPad. It has the iPad, the old iPad, the new iPad or iPhone, and the Android one.
Yeah, you know, I think I saw the same one that you saw or something very similar to that. That's where it gets a little too clunky for me because it's an adapter upon an adapter on the original tip. Yeah. And so this is another version of this. It's the StarTech, not StarTAC from Motorola, but the StarTech.com. They're kind of a concept where it was the old 30-pin adapter for iPhone with the micro USB, plug it in. And I will say this, in the beginning, this worked very well.
In the
beginning. But now it's loose and it doesn't keep the connection, which is I don't know. It's whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of been pretty much it. And then obviously today, I was all over Twitter today, just doing live blogging from today's events and kind of talking with people up, ramping up to today's announcements, trying to figure out what Apple is really doing and if they're going to do like a one more thing kind of stuff. And I actually got a buddy of mine who works for, I don't want to say he works for Apple Security, but he works for Apple Security. And he's been under NDA for about 3 months because he already knew what was coming out. And it's funny because he's under NDA for his stuff, and then you and I are under NDA for our stuff. Yeah. And I was at the barbecue on for Labor Day, and we were talking about just how it is to be under NDA and how it feels awesome to have all this power over all the other minions.
But don't you kind of think like I don't see it as power over minions. The way I'm seeing it is like, okay, I'm looking at everybody going crazy, and that's what we're going to be talking about in today's episode is our impressions from the Apple event. But my number one impression before we even get into details of what was announced is for every bit of excitement, even small minute pieces of my own excitement. They're putting out what they're doing and then just knowing what's around the corner and just thinking about it. It's just like, that's pretty funny. That's pretty hilarious. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing with, you know, if you have friends that are in the industry too, you know, and working for opposite I don't want to say opposite sides, but you know, different companies. When you talk to each other, you have to, you know, say like, yeah, you know, who knows what happened. But then when something does happen, it's just like, oh, so you guys did that, and you're still just having the back of your mind. It's really like, okay, well, we will see, you know.
Yeah, because last time I said, you know, I think it was around April. People were asking me, hey, so when's the new Surface coming out? When's the new Surface coming out? And I said the words, Microsoft is probably not going to announce a new Surface until Windows 10 is finalized. And then May came around and they announced Surface 3. And then I looked like a dumbass.
Yeah.
So I wasn't under NDA or anything like that. But I guess I could argue by saying, I did say probably won't, which still puts me in the realm of deniability because they probably did, which they did. But yeah, it is one of those things. You're right.
Yeah.
But it's at the same time it's fun. It's just like there are certain things, like I was under NDA with the 1+2 event. Like I couldn't even like tell my one of my other editors, because just because the document that I signed was really like ironclad, and I was like, I don't want to blow shit up, so I just won't tell anybody where I'm going.
Right.
The only person I really knew was my wife, and she doesn't really care. Like, I'm gonna go to a 1+1 event. She's like, why are you going? Why are you going to a math conference? That's stupid.
You know it's three, right?
You're no good at math.
You don't need a day to figure out it's 3. No. Yeah, there's some things that I guess are around the corner that we just have signs are pointing to, so it'll just be pretty interesting. But I guess let's get into this whole Apple event. If we start at the top, so the top of the list for the Apple event, I guess what just have to be starting with the watch.
Can we actually back up real quick?
Go for it.
Usually the event starts off with like a broad, we made this much money, we gained this many customers, we have these many apps.
True.
Tim Cook said, we have so much to talk about, let's get right into it. And I gotta say, I loved that. I was right away, I was like, oh, thank God. Like, I don't gotta go through, and it's not even me hating on Apple. That's not what it's about.
Yeah.
What it's about is, as a member of the press, I can get all those stats somewhere else. I don't care about that. I want to know what you're announcing now. So I get the idea of talking about all that stuff to really say, we've got all these customers, we've got all these developers, we're making this amount of money, we're giving this amount of money back to the schools. And now, because we're able to do all this with our billions of dollars, and we are worth more than the United States government and Mexico combined, we are bringing you new iPhones and new iPads. I mean, that makes sense, but at the same time, to try, get it in a 2-hour event, I'm glad they cut it out. So yeah.
So but I mean, so what you're talking about? They didn't discuss the numbers.
No.
So you think it was a move in order to build more excitement faster? I kind of think it was a move. Maybe it's not something they should be talking about.
No,
Do you think it's all hunky dory? Is it really that good, and they just glazed over it, or is it just not that good to talk about anymore?
No, I think it's still good. I think it's still relevant to talk about. But I also understand, like, when you're doing events like that, like. Yeah. And I'm sure they learned from the Microsoft event. I'm sorry, I have to hate on it, but some of the Microsoft keynotes were like 2.5 hours long, and they didn't really get to the meat of what the press event was until like maybe a half an hour after the announcement of all the numbers over the past year.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, we got these numbers yesterday, or I can just go get them right now. We don't need somebody up there telling us what we can already get.
Has Apple been watching a lot of E3?
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, like for example, this is a good segue into the watch. when they talked about watch, they said we have 97% customer satisfaction. We have 10,000 watch apps.
Yeah,
they didn't have to
Apple Watch apps.
Right.
Yeah.
They could have said that in the overlining like introduction as to how big and how fast the growth is, but they didn't. So for each segment, they were talking about a little bit how much better the segment has been. And a lot of it was anecdotal as well too. But again, I don't think the vast majority of people really care to hear Apple, shine their shoes and talk about how awesome they are. They just want to see what's new. So as we move forward with that, so Apple unveiled some new watches with regard to the color. So there's nothing new internally. So there's some new colors with the Apple Watches. You're going to be able to get a yellow and rose gold anodized aluminum sport models, which actually launched today.
Yep.
Both at $349
available now,
$399 available now, and then a crap ton of bands. Like, remember that song back in the day? Bands, whatever.
Bands and make them dance.
Yeah,
they should have came out to that, right? Exactly.
Yeah, they really should have. But so they were talking about the different bands, and then they also have a partnership with Hermes to come out with some exclusive watch bands. I was thinking they should do even go further and say, hey, this is the Louis Vuitton band, this is the Gucci band. I mean, shit, people would buy that crap.
It's coming. I know that's coming.
Know because I know at least 10 people who would totally buy that crap. Honestly, I would too. I used to be. I used to have Louis Vuitton crap and everything back when I was dumb. But yeah, it was.
So everybody watching now, if you go buy a band, you were like Tony and dumb. Is that what you?
No, I was spending money frivolously when I really didn't have the money to spend. So that's what I mean. If you have the money and you can do it, go do it. Do what you want.
Yeah, exactly. Go for it. Get that Hermes band.
But they also showed off Watch 2.0 a little bit. 2.0, which is coming on September 16th, which will also be optimized for the earlier watches that came out earlier this year. And some of that includes some complications with the watch band. So. Or not with the watch band, sorry, but with the actual watch face. So what that means is you're looking at your time on the watch face, and then in little areas of the watch face, there'll be little interactions of your text messages or the date and other things that you can interact with without having to leave the main watch face. So that was kind of cool. They also showed off some applications. One that I was really interested in was Facebook Messenger. No, that wasn't it. No. One app that I was really interested in was called Airstrip. Now, this is an app that is for the vertical of medical. And they had a number of medical vertical demonstrations today. But this allows a doctor to, on his or her watch, communicate with the rest of their team, assuming, I guess, everybody else has Apple Watch, as well as being able to see a patient's heart rate and hear their heart rate, all their EKG monitoring sensors, all on the watch itself. I mean, this was kind of the tricorder-esque idea that we've been waiting for years, and now to a certain degree, it's kind of here. It's definitely a very expensive add-on for a doctor to invest in, but I mean, there are, and I'm not saying that all doctors are rolling around in money, because they're not. Let's be honest, not all of them are. But if they can definitely find a really good use case scenario where they don't have to run back and look at the charts, and they can see the charts right on their watch, and they can communicate with their patient right on their watch by voice, by text, that's really powerful. I don't care if you're Apple, Google, or whoever. Whatever that can improve the medical field, do it. And what Google is doing now, they're looking at this and I'm sure they're increasing their HIPAA compliance with their Android Wear and other things. So this is great. This is really going to push with the wearable market. Maybe the wearable market in the future, Brad, isn't about being able to send little penis emojis to your best friends just for fun.
Oh, maybe. No. Yeah, that's not it. It's the best part.
Or is that just me? No. But maybe it really is more in tune of medical and all the other things like notifications of Facebook and text message. No one will care about that so much, but they would want to get information about
I guess I still have just a huge issue with the OS. I mean, just the OS and idea of the
Yeah,
ecosystem.
no, I'm not saying the OS is any better.
Yeah.
I think, and the idea that there are actual watch apps instead of having more hooks
integration directly into the
apps that are on your phone.
Yep.
But you know, it's just a different idea. You know, and if it works for these developers and if it works for the consumers and it's not confusing, then you know, who's to say that Google or whoever else, Microsoft even, won't follow suit and say, okay, maybe that's the direction that we should go. It is another platform for developers to worry about, but hey, it seems to work for Apple, and maybe we should do something similar to that. So yeah, so I mean that was really what came out of the Apple part of it, and then what you and I probably were most interested in was the official announcement of iPad Pro.
Yes.
So the funny thing is, I remember I want to say 3 years ago, I wrote an article in Lazy Tech Guys talking about how Steve Jobs, maybe it's even more than 3 years ago, but it was when Steve Jobs was still around, that Steve Jobs in the next Apple event, the next Apple iPad event, is going to announce an iPad Pro. And there were so many leaks about it. There were like not only renderings, but physical like casings and things like that. And I don't mean casing from like OtterBox or something. I mean the actual aluminum casing that they were testing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that never came to fruition back then. And maybe what it was because they didn't have the multi-application capability as they do now on iOS 9. And so the iPad Pro came out today starting at $799. Some of the specs include a 12.9-inch display. It has a really high resolution display, dude. I mean, this is 2732 by 2848. A9X processor. It's actually faster than the 8X. Amen. It's faster than the older one, which obviously makes sense. Really good battery life. 4 speakers on the front. 8 megapixel camera on the rear.
Front or the back? That's what I couldn't. They're on the front.
No. Sorry, no. 8 megapixel on the back. I don't know about the front.
Okay, but the speakers are on the front, not the back.
The speakers are.
I thought they were on the back.
They're on the back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it only weighs 1.57 pounds, and it's very, very thin for this kind of form factor, and it can allow you to simultaneously edit 3 4K streams at once. I mean, that's how powerful this thing is, and with 10 hours of battery life, that's pretty remarkable. Some of the other things that were announced with this is that it will have Touch ID, it will have LTE capability, but I would say more importantly is that this really goes after a market that, Larry, you and I are very passionate about, and that is the professional market. That is the market where people are really trying to decide, should I be bringing a tablet with me, or should I be bringing a laptop with me, or should I get into this new kind of this new thing called 2-in-1s.
Yep.
And so arguably this is a 2-in-1. This, you could use it as an iPad, or you could use it as a laptop, because they now have the special smart keyboard which will dock into the iPad Pro at the bottom, and then it has its own built-in kickstand. And then
the keyboard is going for, I believe, $169.
$169 for the keyboard, and then they had the new Apple Pencil, which is going for $99, which I believe is Bluetooth connected. And although I could be wrong, but
oddly enough, it is Bluetooth connected, but it still charges through a lightning cable,
which is cool. And then, you know, I actually tweeted out, Microsoft, take note, because I gotta tell you, I don't like. We have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 batteries in this thing, dude, and that's true. And these batteries, you can't just go to Walgreens to get them. You have to order them. I mean, come on. I mean, I get it.
I mean, I found the battery at Best Buy and at Walmart.
I've been to 3 Best Buys, 1 Walmart, and 2 Walgreens, and none of them had the batteries.
The quadruple A.
Yeah, the quadruple A, or the button cells. Or the button cells that are up here.
Cells? Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Well,
maybe it's a California thing. Maybe we're battery prejudiced. But whatever the case is. I have
found a battery.
Whatever the case is, the fact is that I had to go to more than one store to find the battery, and most people didn't even know quadruple A batteries even existed. That's not acceptable to me, and it's not really Microsoft's fault in that regard. But I love the pen that we have to use with the Surface, and I mean the benefit of this pen is that and the technology that Microsoft has, it does have palm detection. The iPad Pro does not.
Yeah.
But
Also, the Apple Pencil, from my understanding, is not fully integrated into the entire tablet experience. It's only in some apps and
it's only in
some
certain
things.
apps. And you know the funny thing was, who came on stage to demonstrate the Apple Pencil with their app?
I think that's the biggest capper of this whole entire event.
Even Phil Schiller was like, and to demonstrate their app, here is Microsoft. And there was like, huh? Yeah, Microsoft. Like even he was like, yeah. Can you believe it? I was like taken aback for a second, but at the same time, I was like, you know what? This is a new. It's a new Microsoft. Yes, we're in competition with them, but at the same time, we need Apple.
But when you saw that too, now this goes back to our conversation about, just NDA, but just the idea of you see what's on stage, you see something that Microsoft puts on stage, and just kind of knowing, what could be around the corner too. And I think it was a great demonstration of Microsoft being involved in, ecosystems outside their own.
Yeah.
So just seeing that, I think that was pretty cool.
No, it totally was.
And I give Apple, I would have to give Apple props for at least embracing the fact that, this is what does make, in all actuality, that's the part that makes their device, the iPad Pro, that device for productivity. Because it's not like you're going to be using AutoCAD on it. It's not like you're going to be using Photoshop on it.
Well, I have to disagree on some of those. I mean, Adobe was there too, showing off there.
But it's still only showing off, what do they call it? It's still not Photoshop.
No, it's not Photoshop. I agree with you that. I mean, they're not the full applications, but at the same time, this isn't the full application of Word. This is a mobile version of Word.
Yeah, I mean that's still very true too. But and then I think that still just just shows its drawbacks, the idea of those drawbacks. But I think you get more productivity done out of the iPad Pro when it comes to office and true, desktop productivity than anything else as professional,
Now, I wonder this, to get on stage with Apple. Now, I know Apple paid OneRepublic to, spoiler alert, OneRepublic performed, and I feel bad for the singer because his voice cracks so many times. I don't know. But they paid OneRepublic to be there. But do you think they paid Microsoft to be there, or did Microsoft have to pay to be featured? I wonder about that because I don't think there was actually anything that changed hands for that, because they both got something great out of that. So but you can say that about any advertisement.
That's true too, but this was the first time. There was no other time, and we've had the Microsoft press conference in January. Then we had Build in May, and we always had our E3 stuff. But none of those events.
Was it this year, or was it this year or last year when we announced? It was last year when we announced we had a special event for Office on iPad. And we showed off iPad, but there was nobody from Apple there, and I would have expected at least somebody from Apple directly to show it off with an Apple employee to really.
But when we had that event too, there was nothing really that drew people to use it on, and I think that's what that's what a big grab was. This gave Microsoft the opportunity to showcase their product on the best of what Apple has right now. It wasn't like they were showing Apple for iPad on the iPad that people really wanted to use for work anyway. And when they couldn't show, like right now, there's the Office for Mac 2016 available, and it has some great features. I wish I even still had my MacBook, because I loved PowerPoint in 2016 on Mac.
Oh, I love PowerPoint on the Mac.
Amazing! It was amazing.
I went to my dad's house and I tried it. I'm like, why is this not going to be available?
That 3D layer view?
The 3D layer view. Yeah. I was like, why is this not on Windows? This makes no sense. It's not like the Mac is. Your computer is way more powerful than my dad's Mac, and your key.
But when you look at it, when we showed off Office for iPad, we never showed Office for MacBook, even though the MacBook was just coming out. That new slim MacBook just came out. but we never showed Office on a new slim MacBook. It was a reason for it. 2016 wasn't out, and 2016 was going to be the best of Office on the
Yeah,
MacBook.
because the Office on Mac at that time was 2011. So
and when you think what you think about what really works for Office Mobile right now is the idea of using touch and pen gesture really bring out the best of Office Mobile. Now when you have an iPad that uses a pencil, like, yeah, I'm gonna be there to show you guys that you don't have to pay me for that. That if I was Microsoft, I would say, yeah, I can send somebody there. That's easy. Like, I will say show you of my Office.
I will say one thing. I mean, one thing I really do like about iOS 9 as an operating system, like when they did the split view of the two apps side by side and where they're demonstrating Word and Excel right side by side, that's nothing new. We're used to that.
Yeah.
But to be able to, in an ARM-based tablet, to copy and paste a segment from Excel, the charts, and move that over into PowerPoint, that was powerful. You didn't have to do like a control copy and paste thing. I mean, demonstrating wise, that was very powerful. And then to be able to kind of draw a circle and then it populated a circle, I mean, that was amazing. I'm like,
I would still like to see that on iPhone though, on how an iPhone handles that.
I doubt you would do that so much on an iPhone though. I mean, you're not going to get split view on an iPhone.
And this goes back to, and we'll lead into some other conversation, but this still goes back to what my biggest issues are with Apple. Is although iOS 9 is coming out, it's still different across all of these devices. iOS 9 operates different on an iPad as it does on an iPhone, as it does on an iPod.
Well, that depends on the app, though, and that also. And I had this discussion. If you saw my Facebook thing, I mentioned about my mother-in-law. That's a discussion that developers really have to hone in on when it comes to creating an application and having the language be the same. And some developers just don't get it. Some developers just think that someone's going to use this app on an iPhone, and then they go to their iPad. I'm just going to blow it up to match the iPad scaling. It's like, no, you can't do that. You have to take into account that all this extra space you need to use properly. And it has to be logical, and some developers just don't get it. So yeah. I think as a UI, I think it's between iOS 9 on an iPhone, iPod Touch, and an iPad. They're all pretty much the same, especially with the 3D Touch that we're going to talk about later on. But it really comes down to the developers themselves to make sure. And this is with Android too, man. Android has this issue as well too.
I hear you're saying it comes down to developers, but I think this is actually woven into Apple's history. If you think about what mainly split these two companies in the early 90s, was the graphical interface. It was Windows versus Apple, Macintosh. Mm-hmm. And when you look at it over time, Apple has never. It's not the developer. This is in their blood now, and developers are just reaping the haphazardness of this. But Apple has never been able to scale on a display level, on a screen by screen level. Apple has never been able to scale properly the visual, the UI.
It took Google years too.
Yeah.
It's hard to.
But Microsoft has been doing it because it's inherently in what they do called Windows. They've been able to do that over time. And I think that's what really draws back. We'll definitely get into Apple TV a little bit later in this conversation. But when you think about what's happening with Apple TV.
With tvOS?
Yeah, and moving on, you can't continue to grow an ecosystem if you're adding an OS every 2 years. If you're adding an OS to your ecosystem, imagine that. Like, in order for us to expand across devices, we have to give you yet another OS.
No, you're right. Although there are some developer tools to say you're building an app and you can say, okay, I want this app to be prepped for iPads at this screen resolution, iPhones at this screen resolution, and then Apple TV. And then with Apple TV, all you do is click these boxes in this developer platform. Yeah. And then under Apple TV, it's like, do you want to enable accelerometer gestures? Yes, I do. Do you want to enable swipe gestures? Yes, I do. What do you want them to do? And so as a developer, some of these tools make it very easy for developers to implement it into their apps. And even though it is another ecosystem for developers to worry about, it's not so difficult because it's still iOS based. We're kind of going ahead, but
And yeah,
but,
and I think it's
tvOS is about
difficult.
95% Apple iOS 9.
Yeah, and I agree that it may not be difficult for developers, but it's definitely. I mean, and I don't necessarily agree or disagree that it's difficult for developers, because I think just the added step to have to think or go down that road is, what grows on development cost and time. But for the user on the consumer end, it's got to be rather tedious and difficult for a consumer to go from device to device when it's a whole nother OS to learn, especially ones that you're trying to adopt into, newly coming to. Like, Apple is kind of there with their niche. It's going to be there, and the install base is kind of there. I don't see, and that could be why they don't talk about their numbers. That's where I think my decision or my understanding is, has your install base actually grown, or are you still serving and catering to the same customers?
Their tablet numbers have definitely stagnated. We know this. Tablets in general have stagnated. For Android, for Windows, I mean, people are buying tablets and they're keeping them. They're not upgrading. And so this being like the big new iPad that is going to
$200 more.
$200 more, but you get so much more out of it as well too, because of the real estate, because of the multitasking, because of the pencil you can't use with anything else, and the keyboard you can't use with anything else. I mean, those are value adds that some professionals have been looking at Surface and say, I kind of want the Surface, but at the same time, I don't want Windows. And that's why Apple did this.
And I think that's where they're going to realize, well, maybe I do just need to get Windows, because when you look at the value added versus the cost added, so we're talking about a device that's $200 more with a pen that costs $100 more with a keyboard that costs $170 more. We're looking at $470 right now. That's another iPad compared to the price I would pay today for an iPad. That's a second iPad.
Right. And in fact, funny you should say that. You can actually put two iPad minis side by side in the screen of the iPad Pro, and they still fit. No, you're right. I mean, monetarily, you're right. But you can make that argument with the Surface.
So why should I make that argument with the Surface? You could buy
3 computers of a Surface.
Why should I make that argument with the Surface? And I'm not trying to sell here, but the idea
is, I get it.
Why do I make that argument for the Surface when in all actuality it means that if I'm going to pay for a second iPad on top of an iPad and pay that price, why would I lock myself into Apple's or ecosystem, not OS, but into the ecosystem, knowing that I can get something that's going to work on my work computer? I get those that do work with Apples and MacBooks. I get where that may fly.
You just said it. That's the answer. Yeah, because that's what they're used to.
And that drives me back to: Are you growing your install base, or are you cater to the same people? And I think that's where I think that divide is. They're putting so much into what they're doing with the Apple TV and the iPro, and now we mentioned there's the the iPad Mini 4. One thing we didn't see.
They threw that under the rug. They're like, yeah, by the way, we have an iPad Mini 4. Basically, it's an iPad Air 2 internals, but it's an iPad Mini. Okay, moving on.
What I'm not understanding why we didn't see, though? What happened to the Mac Mini?
They never do Mac Mini at these mobile events.
So this was all mobile. Even though we're talking about being at home with let's keep moving on. We got the Apple TV.
Well, you know what? You're right. I mean, if you know what? Last year
they did the Mac Pro. They did the Mac Pro, the desktop cylinder.
Yeah, at the same time.
They did it at the same time as the iPhone.
As the iPhone, they showed off the Mac Pro at WWDC a little bit, and then they showed it off a lot more at the Apple event.
Yeah.
And like Mac Mini. No, you're right.
I just thought I would have saw
like they said at the beginning,
Mac Mini.
At the beginning of the show, though, they said we could just have so much shit to talk about. So, I will say this, and then we can move on. The question is, do I want an iPad Pro that is basically very similar to what we have with our Surface Pro 3s? It's big, I can multitask, but it's still iOS. It's never going to give me a desktop experience. It's always going to be mobile apps. Is that good enough, or do I have to go to mobile app to actual desktop apps, but I have to deal with Windows and all the things that come with Windows? I mean, you and I, we know how to deal with Windows, but the average person, that's why Staples and Office Depot and Fry's, that's why they exist, because of tech services, because there are a lot more issues with Windows, because people can make mistakes and just corrupt their computer, whereas with an iPad, the worst that you can do is freeze the iPad and you turn it on and you turn it back on, turn it off and turn it back on. You can fix most of your issues. So that's what it's going to be interesting to see, like how it pans out in retail as well as the overall global market as well as enterprise.
Yeah,
because
and that's the
yesterday,
other thing I was going to say with enterprise. You got to realize the direction. I think when Apple comes up with this offering now and then attaches this kind of price tag to it, I think it will encourage more people to purchase. It may not even be the Surface, but it will encourage more people to buy PC-based devices with that price that gives them those features. Think about how many Yoga Pros will sell because of this. How many of the new who was that, Lenovo? It's still Lenovo coming out with these devices. How many of these will sell because now of the offering of the iPad and puts them into that market now?
But then it goes back to what platform is the developer going to create their completely amazing app on? Is it going to be Windows 10 or is it going to be iOS? And that is the question. That's the fight.
Yeah, it's no longer a fight of hardware. It's a fight of your whose developer is on whose side.
And that is the fight that we have with iOS to Windows Phone.
Yeah.
I mean, I was when we were doing this chat, one of my friends who's been selling HTC and LG with me for years, he's like, hey, when's your next Windows Phone's coming out? Like, probably in the next month or so. It's like, how are the apps going to fight? Are they going to be any better? I'm like, we'll see, man. I mean, Windows is doing everything that they can to draw people from iOS and Android to build their apps.
I do like the new integration. It does come out of developers, but Clear Channel has rewrote the iHeartRadio app in Windows 10. We've used it in the Windows 10 environment. You can use it now on Windows 10, but I have the Windows 10 preview build on my phone, the Windows 10 mobile on my phone. And the iHeartRadio app on the phone now, on Windows Phone, far exceeds that on Android. By far. I mean,
that's good.
It looks gorgeous. It reacts, marvelously. I mean, it is up to the developer. But I kind of like to see this fight. Then I want to see this fight play out. But you were getting into enterprise.
Fights of the nerds. Yeah, no, enterprise. Yesterday, Microsoft announced a new partnership with HP and Dell. So if you want to buy a Surface Pro 3 and you're a big business enterprise and you usually buy all your computers from HP and Dell, now HP and Dell can actually offer you the official Microsoft Surface Pro 3. They are not going to rebrand it. They're not going to put HP or Dell logos on it. It's going to be the Microsoft Surface Pro 3, and they're just going to be resellers. The idea behind this is that from, when a company like, Kaiser decides to buy new computers for the doctors or wherever, they go directly to Dell. They have a buyer that goes directly to Dell, and now Dell can offer them the Surface and really show them the power of the 2-in-1. And then, if the Surface doesn't do anything else, it's going to show the power of the 2-in-1 and maybe show off, hey, if you don't want to pay the price of a Surface, we also have these other 2-in-1s from Dell and HP. And it's still going to be Microsoft. So
I'm going to pose this question as a clarification. Is Dell and HP, are they offering the Surface Pro 3?
Yes.
It's the Pro 3?
Yes.
Okay.
There was a clarification that came out today, at least from from HP standpoint. At launch of this program, they're going to be offering the Pro 3.
Okay, because originally the story said Surface Pro.
Right, that's correct. And so people, including myself, were saying because they're not saying specifically Pro 3, but
I heard the same thing. Now, because this doesn't lead to anything, I do have to say, we can have a little side note here. There is an article on one of our learning portals, I should say, Easy. Have you seen this before?
What's learning?
You know what I'm?
Oh, no, I know it's learning portal, but like which article?
Okay, so you can't find it. That's the thing. So there was this article talking a little bit about let's say some new productivity tools you can use coming out in the future. It's kind of showcasing what they can do for you connected to OneDrive and being a student. So there's this particular student, she had a Surface and she was working in class, and later she went home and she had her, productivity tool out on her Surface. However, when she laid on the couch, she held her Surface up and she was kind of reading it kind of, or portrait style.
There's a video you saw?
Yeah, it was a video. It was inside a video. She had it landscape on her lap. She literally detached it, put it into portrait, and kind of laid back on the couch reading it in portrait mode. And then it went on and on. It was only maybe like a 3-second clip. So I'm reading the comments on this video, and one of the comments actually stated, did anybody else look at that Surface Pro 3 that she had on the couch at about the 30-second mark? Didn't it look a little larger than our 12-inch Surface Pro 3s? So I go back and I'm analyzing the hell out of this Surface. I see like same buttons, same Windows logo placement, but I mean, just the angle she put it off, it looked a tad larger, and I'm like, it's probably nothing. So I put it away. Next day, I'm out and about, and I wanted to show someone, like, do you think this looks a little larger? Video is gone. Article is gone.
Okay.
It's not even there. So when I hear now, the iPad Pro is 12.9 inches. Yeah, I'm just kind of thinking, maybe we can see some things going on, but that's we'll just see. Speculation, rumors.
Yeah. There's a lot of speculation, rumors of the SP4 and Skylake and USB-C and things like that.
Yeah.
Can I just say one thing and then we'll move on to the next Apple stuff?
Yep.
2 USBs this time, please. Just 2. Mm-hmm. I just need 2. Yep. Fucking Lenovo with their Surface ripoff that they announced last week at IFA had 2. So we can have 2. Okay, so let's move on.
That's all I need. Car charging.
Yeah, a VPC definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was that was iPad Pro. Good for iPad Pro.
Yeah. Should we still should we go larger? I mean, smaller, the largest, or should we just go right in order of announced? Right in order.
We'll go right in order.
Okay, so Apple TV's up.
Apple TV.
So I guess things you need to know.
Apple TV unveiled a new Apple TV. I just said that twice. Can I just say, there was a lot of purple shirts today. I don't know what that was all about, but then Eddie Q came on with an untucked red shirt. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's a nice refresh. Like, I was kind of tired of the purple shirt shit. I don't know why I cared about it, but yeah. So there's a brand new Apple TV. It's a physical set-top box. So if you were hoping for an actual TV, that's not going to happen. I mean, they definitely have been testing that in the past, but there's just so many tiny margins that Apple doesn't even want to get into that business. I mean, you're not making any money in the TV business. Look at Samsung and LG. There's just like very little money in that.
Yeah.
But the actual design of the physical TV set-top box, it's a little bit smaller, and then they have what's called the Siri remote. This remote is Bluetooth, so you don't have to worry about pointing it directly at the thing. But if you want, it also has an IR blaster, so you can actually turn off and on and turn the volume of your actual TV set itself. And then on the remote, it has a touch gesture area. So when you're in the menu system of the Apple TV, you can actually swipe up and swipe down, just like you would on your phone. So it uses that same kind of gesture ad that you're used to. And then obviously there's a button with a little microphone, and you don't have to say "Hey Siri," but you say, "Find me movies that are with Ted Danson," and it'll find all the Ted Danson movies. What I like about this from a content standpoint is it doesn't matter what services that you have, as long as you're signed into them and you're subscribed to them. It'll show you all of the movies that are available to you. And what's even cooler is that it's contextualized. So you can say, find the movies with Ted Danson. Now find them that are only in the 90s. It'll find only the movies with Ted Danson in the 90s.
In the 90s, yeah.
In the 90s. And that's something that, that kind of machine learning on the fly with the cloud is amazing. And if it's as quick as it was on stage, that's impressive. Some other voice capabilities that you were able to do while you're watching, you can say, what did she just say? And it would actually it'll rewind the clip 15 seconds and automatically temporarily show closed caption, so you can actually see as well as hear again what the character had said. You can say, who's in this episode? And it'll show you all the people that are in the episode. Or
Now, I missed this part and I did not rewatch it. Did they actually demo that happening?
yes.
That is great.
Yeah. And then you can also say, how the Giants doing right now. And while your movie is playing or whatever it is, at the bottom, a little thing will raise up and it'll just show the sports score. And then if you want, you can swipe up on the remote and it will automatically pause the video and it'll give you more information about the scoring and things like that.
Now, what activated this? This, I guess,
your voice.
It was just
initially,
your voice. There was no
initially it was
Hey
your voice.
Siri, anything like that.
No, you don't have to say "Hey Siri." So initially, so you press the button on the remote.
Okay, so you press the
You do have
button
to
in
press
order to
the
actuate
yeah, because
that.
the microphone is on the remote itself.
Okay, so I was just wondering because like if my wife's watching the Apple TV and I walk in the room, can I say, "Hey, how's the Cavs doing?" Just by walking in the room?
No, you have
Okay.
to have her press the button and point the remote microphone to you, and then you can yell it across the room.
I wonder if they'll update the remote app on the iPhone or the iPad so I can just walk in and press my
I
iPad.
wouldn't put it past them. I mean, that was the other thing too. So let's move on with that. So yes, there is the remote, and it's still very easily lost because it's nice and slim. Some of the other things they were showing was that you can control some aspects of Apple TV from your phone, and up until now, that's what a lot of people use. They didn't even really use the remote that came with Apple TV. They
I
would just
lost
use
the remote a
phone.
lot.
Exactly. Yeah. So you just use an iPhone to control it. So that's going to continue to be the case. Also in gaming, because you now can do some casual gaming on here because it is iOS 9 based. You can either use third-party controllers, as Braz is showing, or you can actually use the remote as a kind of a Wii remote style controller where you're actually using it to play
That's
tennis
hilarious.
or other things. It's very hilarious, and it's very kind of like, really, Apple? That doesn't really seem like you, but okay, oh well. Or you can actually use your iPhone as gesture controls as well too, depending on what game it is that you're playing. Like
Sadly enough, though, you have to consider the Wiimote style classic, like a retro style throwback gaming. Like
at this point, yeah.
did they really go back to this?
It reminded me kind of what Roku tried to do with their Roku remote that allowed you to control Angry Birds. You remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
That the Roku 3 or whatever. I was like, this is the dumbest idea ever. But again, that was just Angry Birds. I mean, you're going to be able to play some really cool games. They showed off a new feature in Crossy Road, which is actually one of my favorite games. And yes, it is just kind of Frogger, whatever. But hey, I love Frogger too. And you can actually have multiplayer on one screen. And this is going to be exclusive to Apple TV. They also showed off some apps from MLB. So you'll be able to get live game streaming if you're subscribed to MLB, as well as being able to watch two games simultaneously. And with the gesture on your remote, you can swipe between both games back and forth. So you can capture the Giants as well as the A's, or whatever team that you like the most. They're really big on talking about
just San Fran style, the Giants and the A's.
Hey man,
Nobody cares about that.
Yay area.
No one cares about those games.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, definitely not the A's. But Tim Cook was saying, the future of TV is apps, which is interesting because we've been hearing so many rumors that Apple is going to collect deals with other networks, so you'll be able to watch like CBS and ABC and things like that on the Apple TV. But obviously, those deals take years to kind of culminate. So maybe that's something that will come in later on. I mean, again, years ago, Steve Jobs was saying, if you have a stylus, you're doing it wrong, and now we have Apple Pencil. So obviously, they changed their tune because they realize the world is changing as well too. So, what I really liked about the Apple TV too was, the UI. Now you were saying, and I want to bring this up, was this is iOS 9. About 95% of it is iOS 9. And what you were saying is, as a developer,
there's no way that's iOS 9.
95% iOS 9. You have to understand that do you really want an iPad UI on your TV? Tell me that.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
That is a terrible UI for a TV.
Nothing opens up in a window anyway. Okay, so why not? You're talking about just having the icons across your TV?
Yeah.
No.
That's terrible.
Why would that be terrible? Especially if you give me, okay, so you give me a remote that has a gesture controls, basically an accelerometer in it, and that can basically act as a pointer. You're basically telling me this can act as a pointer. If all you had to put
I don't know if you can point to the accelerometer. They were only really using in gaming. When you're switching between apps, you're using the touch-based gesture, because that's obviously more familiar. And then when you want to go into an application, you just tap on the screen and it'll highlight whatever application or whatever movie's highlighted. It'll open that up. But
I think even just with the touch in the remote, you could give me an iPad. You can give me an iPad look. You can give me that desktop. You can give me that look.
That kind of look on a large screen is just, I mean, there's so much space that's going to be taken up. It's going to look so cluttered. And it's a lot of those applications are not, especially if you're just going to automatically port iOS 9 onto TV. A lot of those apps are definitely not optimized for the TV. They only have a few apps that are optimized for the TV.
Then tell me this then. What's wrong with the reverse? What's wrong with putting the Apple layout on an iPad? You
mean the Apple TV layout on an iPad?
Yeah.
Well, then you're getting to like how Windows 8 looked.
Not even. I'm getting into how a Kindle looks like. That's what I'm saying there. I mean, I would say there's nothing wrong with doing that at this point, especially if you have a 12.9-inch iPad. Why not make this look like an Apple TV on a screen?
Well, because an iPad is an iPad, and you don't want an iPad Pro coming out with a completely different UI. You want an iPad Pro to have similar UI.
Exactly my point. So now I got an Apple TV coming out with a whole new UI than what Apple.
No, it's not. iPad? It's not a different UI to the older Apple TV. This is very similar to the older Apple TV UI. It's just been upgraded.
This looks now at this point like I don't have any of my top. I don't even like so for what I saw, I didn't see any way to connect to my computer from it. All I saw was built-in first-party apps, a way to get to the App Store,
right,
and ways to get to streaming TV services.
Right.
I saw no true icon application integration until I saw only a few things like we saw there. I mean, I guess there's the Guitar Hero, there's the Crossy Roads. I'm
sure if you obviously we don't have the Apple TV here, but if we were to swipe down underneath, if you go back to that screenshot of Q next to where it says Movies iTunes, TV Show iTunes, the Apple App Store, I guess that's Photos, and then your My Music.
Yeah.
If you were to swipe down, that would then that's where your other top applications would be underneath there. That would be your app drawer underneath.
So I didn't see it. So when I go into movies and TV shows, it still looks the same as my Apple now. I mean, I still get a black screen.
Well, no, it's not. I don't know if it's white now. It's more fluffier now. It's I mean the overall underlining UI is going to be the same, but there's going to be some cosmetic differences.
To an average consumer, you gave me a new UI.
Because we went from black to white?
Not even black to white. You put things in different places. That's a different UI.
Yeah, but they do that with iOS too. I mean, you could argue with that with any UI. I mean, look.
So why not change it for an iPad if you're gonna make the iPad larger? You're gonna make the iPad the size of what my MacBook my MacBook Air can do. Then you might as well give me a MacBook Air desktop. You made it nearly 13 inches.
Okay.
For you to say that they need to stick to what iPad is inherently, but they could change the OS of an Apple TV. They can go and change.
It's not that different. If I pull up an Apple TV from Apple TV UI from earlier this year, just to kind of look at what they look like from earlier this year. Okay, so
let me see if I can put it side by side.
They're just larger icons.
So
with a black background, you're right. There's just larger icons with a black background, and this one, where's
let's see, Apple
my TV here?
TV. What do they call it? tvOS. No, tvOS, right?
And this one, it has icons with the white background. You're telling me that's a completely different UI? That's not a completely different UI.
I'm gonna put this side by side. Let's see here. See if I can get into. All I see is everything that you're looking at when you're looking at, when you're just looking at the home screen. I see nothing about when you click. Like if I clicked on movies or I clicked on TV shows, what would I see? So I see the let's see. I see the accessibility menu. However, that's a menu. See where I can get in here. Here's a good one. This looks like when if you found a movie or you went to info on the new tvOS.
I don't see what you're talking about.
And I'm putting it up now. Here we go. That's what you would see.
No, that's not the whole screen, though.
Is that not the whole screen?
That's not the whole screen. No, the whole screen will show, that will be in the upper left-hand corner. But the whole screen is going to have a snapshot of what the movie looks like, and then all the other titles that are related to it. It kind of looks like how it looks like when you go to Netflix and you're using Netflix on your Xbox.
Okay, so when it does that, does it also give you related shows when it's showing you that in the screen?
Yeah.
Because this is what it looks like now, and I think that's why this looks different. To me, this is a different UI. So this is what I would be seeing now. Where's this at? Right there. This is what I would see now.
Yeah, it looks like that. I mean, it looks very similar to that, but instead of Downton Abbey being on the left-hand side, it's going to be on the right-hand side, and it's going to be a background picture instead of like an album art picture. Then it's going to have the episode information in the upper left-hand corner.
Does it give me viewers also watched?
Yeah, it'll give you that option as well too. Like I said, related content.
The related content.
Yeah, so that'll still be there.
To me, that looks different than what I'm seeing in here.
Well, I watched the announcement.
Yeah.
And when they were showing it off, like I
just feel like, I mean, I think maybe I'm even more upset that I have to buy another Apple TV than this being integrated already. I don't know. I'm just
so Apple TV, the new OS, tvOS. Did they not say it's going to be available for existing Apple TVs?
I didn't hear that, and then actually I asked that question, but it isn't nothing. Everything that I get is just everything about the event because it's too new.
All right.
I need someone to analyze that.
If you do need to buy it, it's going to come out in October, and it starts at $149 for 32 gigabytes or $199 for 64 gigabytes. And the third gen version, which came out earlier this year, is 69 gigabytes. So,
and this is just me. I literally just bought another TV for my front living room. I put it in there. I'm like, what are we gonna do with this TV that we're getting rid of? Like, we're replacing this TV. So I'm like, what are we gonna do with this one? So we have a little small 23-inch in our room now, and we decided to put the 32-inch in our room and give our son the 23-inch. But we're like, oh, then we need to go get another Apple TV because we had the one in our room, we had the one in the family room. The one in the front living room runs off of an Xbox 360. And we're like, oh, so we need to pick up another Apple TV for his room.
Okay.
And now this crap comes. And I'm like...
You can't be mad about that.
Well,
I'm can't be mad about that.
I know it gives me the opportunity because I've always just said, like both my Apple TVs are 720p Apple TVs. And I said at this point, okay, I'm going to go get a 1080p Apple TV. And give my son a 720, but now I'm not convincing to go and spend $89 or $99 on an Apple TV. It's now $149.
There's more room.
Yeah, that's only at 32 gigabytes too. That's now we get into the essence of it with the sizes and with the apps. There's this big thing about gaming now on Apple TV. How do you think this is going to take off?
It's going to take off
on Apple TV.
It's going to take off as well as gaming on Roku has taken off.
Exactly. I don't see why everyone's really up in a flurry about
Are they really
Apple's stepping into gaming.
Are they really? Again, I haven't gone to GameSpot. I don't go to IGN. Are people really excited about it?
Yes, there is true excitement. We've gotten so this is on A-List Daily, the game industry .org .net, something like that. So this is coming from, let's see who this is first up. Bing Gordon, he's general partner and CPO over at Kleiner Perkins, Caulfield and Byers. They've been they've been consulting with EA and Epic and other companies over the past years. He was actually formerly chief creative officer at EA. This is his statement about Apple with the Apple TV being able to step into the games. Not that they weren't already in the games industry anyway. But he says Apple's all-in commitment to support games on the iPhone was one of the biggest surprises ever in the game business and has been the driver of its golden age of gaming. He then says if Apple brings this level of energy and expertise to TV, it will be great for gamers. What can Apple do for gamers on TV? Based on the history that they've had on mobile devices. And only on mobile devices.
That's just marketing speech, dude. I wouldn't read too much into it, though. I wouldn't read too much into it. I mean, if anything,
there's one person. Like,
there's definite successes of mobile gaming, but it doesn't trump console or PC gaming whatsoever.
Yeah.
The fact that Apple is doing it at this point doesn't validate gaming on the TV from a set-top box. It's just another avenue for developers to make some money. I wouldn't put too much stock into it. It's nice, but Android has fucked it up many times. But there have been really good games, and we've talked about this. Shadowgun was a really great game for the TV, especially if you had the controller for the Ouya. And then Asphalt 8, which they demonstrated with Apple TV. You can play Asphalt 8 using your phone, and your phone is a controller. I mean, those are things that we can do with Windows 10. Those are things that you can do on the Xbox and blah de blah de blah. And it's a nice game, but it doesn't really validate the fact that it's making Apple's making headway in gaming on the TV with the set-top box. I don't think, and I think if you're trying to say that these people are saying that Apple is going to replace consoles, that's never going to happen. Okay, maybe never is not a good word, but at this point, that ain't happening. Not at this point. Because again, they're just iOS games, and as great as iOS games are, they're iOS games. They're not console games.
So I think that's the question. Can these iOS games get better because they're now on TV?
Well, that depends on the hardware. The hardware, the hardware is 2 gigs of RAM and whatever flash memory that you decide. The GPU output is 1080p for that. So I mean that's good. And yeah, I mean arguably it's got more RAM than an iPhone does. That an iPhone and an iPad has. So there's that. That's great. But I don't think it has like enough output to meet the level of like if you're gonna play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas iPhone version or Apple TV version versus the actual PS3 version, the PS3 is going to shit on it. I mean, you already know. Not only because it's much more graphically able to do all that, but also all the other hooks that you can download other things and multiplayer and stuff like that. So
I guess supposedly. I think my ultimate question then would be, when you think about it's not in that one. When you think about what the Apple TV do, they talk about what sort of processor is driving this Apple TV at this point. Is there a way that we can lean on? Like you have your Apple TV now, you can AirPlay your iPad or your iPhone to your Apple TV. Does the iPad Pro give the Apple TV or even the new iPad Air or MacBook Air? does it give the Apple TV the power to send these games to that unit as a mirroring device? To improve any gameplay that you would get from, say, a larger tablet, or
So you mean the
even from
GPU output would be done from the iPad or the MacBook itself?
right.
I don't know.
Marty Lardy's saying it's an AMD CPU. So it is AMD, graphically superior. Depending on the GPU that's built in, or would the GPU be dependent upon the device that you mirror to, or it would be going through the Apple TV? And I think that's the only thing that I think that will open up the door for Apple. If it harnesses the fact of how it connects to other devices to be on your TV, not what it can do for your TV, but how do other devices connect to it to be to your TV? Because there's no way you can. I don't think that you can make an iOS game, or even a TV. We'll call it, it's tvOS. You can't make the tvOS game that's going to be superior than a console. But if you can make the PC game that is, or the Mac game that is playing on a MacBook Air, or even playing on now an iPad Pro running an X9, could you get that to Apple TV? And now, when you think about iOS games, even in their independent nature of being, driven or mirrored or streamed through another device, you give them the ability to use a controller. You give them a third-party controller. That's something we haven't seen except for all these kooky little, add-on devices or add-on peripherals you can get for your iPhone. Not really for your iPad, but for your iPhone. But there's never really been a controller on iOS. And you kind of give it that now. So could you lean on either better graphic processing and CPU performance, by streaming apps or mirroring, not apps, but devices, or even streaming devices, and then giving them the input then to have a better gameplay experience. That's the only thing that I see should be exciting about seeing Apple step into an app market on TV. Outside of that, if they're only driven on what they've done, and that seems to be a lot of the proponents, that seems to be what they're leaning on. They're saying, oh, if Apple can bring what they've done to iPhone and iPad to gaming on the Apple TV, that'll be great for everybody. But it can't. I truly believe it just can't stop there. If they truly want a foothold in gaming and to expand that gaming experience from an Apple device, then they have to think farther beyond doing games as in a mobile setting. We talked about it, like this, having Apple TV in that mix. This is no longer a mobile conference. You're talking about being in someone's living room, and can you truly do it to take advantage of what they have in their living room? You can't bring a mobile app to the TV and expect for it to grow.
It's also interesting, kind of moving forward, if you don't mind. Also, you're saying this is a living room device, but Apple didn't mention anything about like HomeKit. Mm-hmm. That was the one thing that we.
That's what I said. That's the one thing I didn't see in the OS. Remember, on my current Apple TV, I have a link right there that says computer. It's right there at the top. There's nothing about me connecting.
Well, again, you only saw a few screenshots, dude.
That's true.
We'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
You're talking about automated home.
Automated home. So that was something that I think a lot of people were excited for, because Apple has made some headway with HomeKit, with some other devices that have been HomeKit compliant. And there was some rumors that maybe Apple TV, the new Apple TV that's going to be announced, would have hooks in the HomeKit. So from your Apple TV, you would be able to control your Philips Hue light or your whatever, your thermostat and things like that. But as it stands right now, that's not the case.
You're still leaning on developer support for it.
You are. You really are. And the thing is, what's interesting is I think developers are first going to see how many people buy these Apple TVs before they really decide to put the effort into developing for them. Because exactly like we've been talking about, I can make the best Apple TV game in the world. Just like when Chair came out with Infinity Blade on the iPad Air, on the iPad 2, That was the game that got me to buy my iPad and why I stuck with the iPad for years, because I loved Infinity Blade. It was one of the best gesture-based games that you could ever get on any kind of tablet anywhere in the world, bar none. But that was the only reason why I bought the iPad in the first place. And I think developers, there's either going to need to be a hero application or a hero game to really push that, like its own Halo or its own like MLB at bat or something like that. Or to have the hook into home automation would have been really nice. But I mean, let's be honest, the vast majority of people aren't really interested in home automation. That's really our tech bubble. That's it. You, me, and a few other guys. You know, you walk into Staples that have the home automation section. It's like, look at all the things, and people are like, I'm scared. I'm like, yeah, you kind of should be. You know, security's, you know, just like you said, Braz. Like security with those things are kind of scary. So don't buy them.
But you know the odd enough thing though, people aren't into home automation, but they're into home security. And they integrated just the least bit of home automation into Apple TV and led with the pillar of home security, people would be on it in a heartbeat. You know, video cameras connected that you can still watch on your TV through the Apple TV. While you're watching, you can still see this at the bottom, picture in picture. It's they're not focusing on what drives to. I think they're making and this is, I think, the problem I've had with Apple for the past couple of years now. You know, they're innovating for the sake of innovation instead of innovating to further, you know, usage. There is innovation for the sake of innovation.
I don't see innovation. I really don't see any innovation here, to be honest with you. I see cool things, but these things that we've seen before.
Yeah, especially we're talking about the Wiimote. You got the Wiimote.
Yeah, the Wiimote thing. The idea to say, you know, show me Ted Danson movies. Now show me only ones from the '90s. You don't have to say, show me Ted Danson movies from the '90s. It already knows what you're talking about. But Google's been able to do that for years now.
And I think we've adjusted to the fact that we're not used to saying that. We're used to just typing that shit. I mean, you're gonna have a hard time, and I think that's a reason. Like when you even look at Windows 10, you know, a lot of people have a hard time adopting Cortana because they're so damn used to just typing inside of a box exactly what they want. And so to put that into a TV, I think you're gonna find yourself hard pressed to find adoption for that. Just like we look at Amazon's Alexas.
Yeah, Amazon's Echo does the same. Very similar. Yeah. You know, Amazon, their Fire TV, they had the remote with the little microphone. Samsung Smart TV had the remote with the microphone. I mean, this isn't anything new. It's Apple, and for enough people that are out there, although it's a niche market share, because of the price, the $150 to $200 price, that margin is large enough that Apple can make back money very, very easily.
Yeah, but for me, I'm actually in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to go find me an Apple TV that's been marked down to now like $49-$49 because I'm happy with especially if we actually get the confirmation that the new Apple TV will get some sort of OS.
I looked at it. I don't see because the new OS.
You can't find anything. Somebody actually saying something about it, right?
No. It says the new OS is not coming to the older Apple TVs because it's so hooked into this new remote that is Bluetooth enabled to the new Apple TV with the Siri and the thing and the flim flam and the stuff.
For me, I'm fine. I think I'm just gonna go find me a.
That's cool, man. And that's why they're gonna. That's why they're gonna continue to sell the 3rd gen Apple TV at $69.
Yeah.
69,
let's go ahead. I think I can find it 59. New iPhone, right?
New iPhones. All right, that's it.
I'm not big. That's it. New iPhones. New iPhones.
Okay.
They put an S on the end of your iPhone.
There's iOS 9, which we kind of talked about. I'd say the biggest thing with iOS 9. With this one is the specific to the iPhone. Well, let's say what they are: iPhone 6s and the iPhone 6s Plus. Physically, they're the same. According to MKBHD, they're a little bit thicker, which he said is possibly because the whole Bendgate issue that happened last year, which might be true. But they're a little bit thicker. We'll leave it up to Unbox Therapy to bend it and see if it's easily bent. But they use this new kind of force sense technology, which they brought on with Force Touch on the mouse pad back in April, but this one's called 3D Touch. So the idea is when you touch your screen, you're touching an icon on your screen of your iPhone. If you just touch it lightly, it'll give you contextual menu that is related to that app without having to actually go into it. So the one way to think about it is kind of like right-clicking with a mouse. Not exactly the same thing because you don't get properties and stuff like that. So for example, you want to send a text message, you can lightly click on your text messaging icon and a little menu will pop up and it'll ask, you want to text your wife, you want to text this guy, send a quick text to this person. It will automatically know the people that you would text, or if you want to go to your calendar. I mean, these are kind of hooks that allow you to peek into other applications without actually having to go into the application. And I honestly thought it was really well done. I thought that as a UI, it made sense because, how many times, I mean, overall, have you kind of think that if you press harder on your screen, it's going to do something better. This really allows you to have that kind of mentality to a certain degree. I really do like the idea that you can kind of peek behind and go to a different app without actually leaving the application that you're looking at. Yeah. The split screen is not going to be available on iPhones. That is specific to iPads. It would be silly to have it on an iPhone. They've also upgraded the A9 processor.
I can see the use out of it, though. I can get the use out of it.
Out of a tiny screen like that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean,
okay. You might have done that with the Note. You might have done that with the Note.
I've kind of used it on the G4.
Once. Yeah, I did that with the Note. And to me, and again, this is where it's subjective. To me, it was because it did
novelty.
It was a novelty. It was a gimmick. It was cool to have. I mean, it was like, hey, I can watch YouTube and be on Facebook at the same time. I mean, on your phone, let's be honest though, on your phone, you're really only doing one thing. You maybe two things, but your focus is generally on one thing unless you're actively going between two apps to share a link or share information, like I do when I send you links for the podcast and things like that. But there's very few times where I actively need two apps open up at the same time. So, when I need that, I'm in front of a computer or my Surface.
So here's what I got to say. This is the one thing that Twitch did amazing. The only thing. If you use the Twitch app now and you find a stream that you're watching, you can actually pop that stream out and go anywhere on your phone and have it just floating. Just in a little box. Anywhere on your phone. Not just like the YouTube app basically that you put it, small. Android. Yeah.
That would be thanks to Android. You couldn't do that. Right now, you don't have that kind of hook with iOS.
So that's only on Android to do that.
Yeah.
Even outside the application itself.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Well, there you go. I like that.
But no, but Google did that right. I mean, in that regard, Google said, okay, let's allow other applications to float over other apps if you allow the application to do so. And in certain applications, there are security questions, there are HIPAA compliance issues. But I mean, those are things that are they're also coming in Android Marshmallow that are really going to allow us to interact between apps without actually having to leave an app for another. And some things will make sense, some things won't. The way that Apple does it, you're kind of peeking one app to another, which is kind of cool. They also upgraded the camera. So the camera is a 12 megapixel camera that allows for 50% more pixels. And I don't care what anybody says, I love the photos from the iPhone. And I love the photos from my Galaxy S6 as well too. But I love the photos from the iPhone because the Sony sensor that the iPhone has and the software that Apple has done with it is just amazing. It's just almost every time when you snap a picture, unless it's a little baby running by, the picture is, generally speaking, even on auto, the color quality is just great. And this is me, someone that really didn't like Apple products overall, but I do like the photos from the iPhone, and this one, it's just going to make it that much better. 4K video support has been added, which is nice. And one thing that I thought was really cool is that when you need to take a selfie in low light conditions and you don't have a flash on the front of your phone, because there's like maybe only one phone out there that has a front facing flash, They are going to use the Retina display to do what's called a Retina flash. So in low light conditions, it will automatically flash the Retina display even brighter than the screen can ever be and act as your flash for low light selfies. I thought that was really innovative. I mean, if talk about innovation,
Well, that could be in
right
software,
there,
though. That's not. It didn't take hardware to do that. Well, okay.
no, that's software. That is innovation of software, and no other phone does that.
Yeah, well, I'm
Not
just
out
saying
of-
that's
not out of the box.
software. That's software that can do that. It's not. It doesn't take hardware to do that.
No, I never said it took hardware to do that.
Then you could have just updated my OS. Sorry. I see 3D Touch, how it's cool. I see the 4K video. Possibly,
But how do you-
how I
okay,
need that
that's-
on a device that's small, even
I don't-
even with the large size. It's
Okay,
a small
so
device.
the Flash Retina thing, I don't know if that is a iOS 9 thing or if that's just an iPhone 6s and 6s Plus
It
thing.
seems like
If it's-
it only
if it's an
really needs to be an iOS 9.
thing,
Yeah.
if it's an iOS 9 thing, then all the other iPhones are going to get it, and then your argument is unfortunately debunked because then all the other iPhones will be able to support it.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You could have just updated my OS.
Right, and so if it's hooked into the OS, then all the other iPhones are going to get it.
So I'm happy with that. I'd
that's a
rather
good
that be everything.
Right, no, and that would be a good thing.
But I don't really think it took new hardware to achieve that. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. I mean, according to this 9 to 5 article, it says new 5 megapixel front facing HD FaceTime camera includes Retina flash screen with True Tone ability. So it says it includes Retina flash. It doesn't say that the fact that the new 5 megapixel FaceTime HD camera is exclusive to the Retina flash. It just says it has it. So I don't know. Maybe it'll come in iOS 9 for the other phones. It would be really nice because the Retina screen itself is the same Retina screen on all the other Retina displays, right? So feasibly, yes, it could just be a software upgrade. The only thing I would say why that might not work is because of the 5 megapixel camera and how it balances it out. But maybe through software they can balance out the front-facing FaceTime camera for the other non 5 megapixel cameras out there as well too. Right. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Wait, was I wrong though, or does this still have actually more pixels than even the Retina display on the current iPhone?
It has more pixels.
Yeah. So.
Oh wait, the Retina display itself.
Yeah.
I thought it was the same Retina display as the Retina display to the Retina display.
So that's the one. That's the one in the iPad Pro that changed, the
iPad Pro is.
Did the 4 Mini change, or the Mini 4? Did it change in resolution?
Oh, I don't know. Again, they skipped over that. They didn't even care. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Real quick, Marty Lardy is asking questions about XBMC machine. So you use Kodi on your Raspberry Pi too? That's cool. I want to get into the Raspberry Pi.
Oh, he's using Kodi?
He's using Kodi. That's cool.
Okay.
They also have something support for live photos. They were saying that this is the first technology of its kind for you to be able to see a photo and you touch it and it turns into a quick 2-second video. And I'm sitting back in my chair with my daughter in my arms, screaming at the high heavens, saying, Nokia did this years ago. HTC did this years ago. And yes, maybe they didn't do it as fluid as you, Apple. But to say that the technology or this kind of concept is new, it's a flat out lie. So I guess
when they did it, everybody said why no one would use it.
I guess if you parse it, the technology might be different. The way that they do it in their camera technology and their software, that part might be different. But the end result is you have a picture and then you look at it a little bit longer and it turns into a video and it goes back to a picture. That's not new. Get off your high horse. Now going back to what Braz says, how many people are going to use this? Tons of soccer moms. Because those are these gimmicky things that are corny to you and me and to Marty out there. There is a large segment of users, and I hear them when I'm at the coffee shop. They are amazed at the simplicity of some of these apps that the phones come with, Android and iOS, that we look at. Why would you ever use that? That's so stupid.
But you know
what,
and
people are coming to them.
people are coming out of these boxes and bubbles and realizing what the underlying fact is. You got that, right? How do you get that to someone else? You can't share that shit. Share it. Try it. Try to share that.
Well, it's funny you should say that. It's funny you should say that. You know who's going to allow it to be shared? Because they're going to link it into their API? Facebook. How many users they have on Facebook? 1.6 billion. So if you could share that...
They still hate Apple. There's no way they're gonna embrace that. Facebook will only embrace that if you brought that into Instagram.
No. Larry,
you need that.
They said on stage, Facebook and their API are going to allow you to share this live photo in your timeline. Not verbatim, but those were the words that came out of his mouth.
I guess I think I need to see that. What's
going on, Tyler? Welcome to the show.
I definitely need to see that.
Yeah. So my recommendation to you is when you have like 7 minutes, go to The Verge, their YouTube channel, and they do a really good synopsis of the whole Apple event in about 7 minutes. I haven't watched it myself, but I'm guessing that one of the things that they say, or maybe somewhere you'll definitely find it in an article, is that Facebook is going to be one of the developers, one of the applications that allow you to share this concept of live photo. Because before with Nokia, yes, the only way that you could share it with Nokia, and that was the limitation, is you share it with people in the Nokia family.
Right.
Or it comes out as some kind of weird MP4 thing. It doesn't always work.
Yeah, Marty Lardy's actually said, I've noticed that most females like the, quote, feeling of how the app makes them feel instead of how cool it is.
Yeah. It's a emotion. These things have to be emotional, to be able to. And these are the words that the girl said: to be able to relive that time when you were in front of the Saint Agnostic Church or whatever, and you see your daughter or whatever doing this for 2 seconds. Like, I remember that. Like, I didn't know I took this video. Like,
yeah.
It just happens, and that could be precious for soccer moms. And the rest of us are like, well, it's whatever. Here's a picture. That's the thing. Like, that's what Apple caters toward, because it's those people that are spending that can spend the money for these new phones.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess I've got to find a usage for it. I give up on. Apple,
believe me, Apple's already found them.
So I mean, if something, I guess I need to. Maybe I did the wrong thing. Remember, just a couple episodes ago, I was talking to you about my wife and daughter upgrading to the iPhone 6. So they may be a little mad at me. They have no idea. And I think that's something that's very, very important to think about. You talk about the soccer moms about this. My wife and daughter have no idea this event took place today. No, I'm not saying that they know that. Most people I talk to have no idea this went down today.
That's right. We're in the tech bubble. Like, my wife is under the same thing. Like, she's like, why are you staying at home with our daughter? Like, well, I have this Apple event that I have to cover for the website. Oh, okay. What are they announcing today? Oh, a bunch of shit. She doesn't care. But if she were an Apple person, well, case in point, she was on the way to the store the other day, and she texted me. She said, I just told Google to remind me to pick something up with my voice. That is awesome. And I'm reading the text. I'm like, is it?
Yeah.
I guess so. It's those little things. It's the little details that when it brings one nugget of joy to somebody, soccer mom or not. I'm not picking on soccer moms, but to somebody in their life, whether it could be visual or something productivity-wise, that just makes it easier. And they didn't have to do anything too much different, like just snap a photo, then and something surprises them.
If it's that simple. If it's that simple.
And that's what they say. Again, this is
truly that simple.
This is, these were live photos that they were taking, and I saw some video of some other people that were at the event testing out the act of taking. MKBHD did this. He did a test of the act of taking the live photo. So what you do is you click on the shutter to take the picture, and the problem is, and here's the rub. The problem is,
you hold up a Windows Phone to demo this.
Well, that's all I got here. The problem is you take the picture, And in order for the video, the video that you don't know that's happening, for it to not be like, you know, jittery or anything, you have to hold your phone there for an extra second.
Yeah.
And for me, I do this. Click. I hate shutter lag. And this inadvertently adds shutter lag, right? So that's going to be the interesting thing. As much as I talk it up and say this will be a wonderful thing for people, it will also be the bane of their existence if they don't know how to turn it off. And it's actually quite easy to turn off. You just click the little icon at the top of the screen and turn it off, and it's done.
See, that's what I agree with Andrew Lee. Andrew Lee's in the chat room. Sounds complicated. I mean,
Andrew Lee,
maybe he's
you're
kidding.
Complicated, Andrew Lee.
Maybe he's kidding.
Get back to work.
But earlier in the chat too, this is pretty awesome because now I can actually look how we can scroll the chat. You know, while we're in the live
Look
feed.
at that.
Okay, so this was funny. Get into the chat really quick. Tyler playing more. He says, "No, okay." While you're having this conversation about going into either a new iPhone 6 or maybe possibly adopting it into iOS 9 that could be on current iPhones, some of the things, and then some of the complications, or not even complications, but some of the new features coming to the iPhone 6S, such as this live video shot or live photo shot. Tyler Playing More asked a question, what do you do? Jump off a 100-foot drop or a 100-foot bridge? And he may be asking a question that he wants our opinion on. We'll get to that answer in a second of what we would do. But it almost sounds like it's sort of the same question Apple should be asking of its customers. And I saw the confused look, like, aren't they the same? Or do they really truly sound like two different things? And I think that's what I'm getting at. It's like, you think about what Apple's doing, these devices, you're jumping off a bridge for Apple. You're either going forward, you're spending another $50 or another $70 on the Apple TV to stay up with the times, or you're going in, and even if you just upgraded you literally just got your iPhone 6, what, 9 months ago? When did the iPhone 6 drop? Was it last October or was it this spring?
Yeah, it was last year.
It was last October?
No, it was last year. Last October.
Spring.
Last September. I remember.
You barely got a year with your iPhone 6. And there's a 6S.
That's not normal. I mean, that's nothing new, though. That's the same thing every year.
I see Galaxy still waiting a tad longer.
No, every year. Every year around the same time.
Every year, 11 months to the date? Like, this is crazy.
And sometimes even sooner. So last year, they announced the Galaxy Note 4 at IFA. But this time, they announced the Galaxy Note 5 2 weeks ahead of, 2 weeks ahead of IFA.
I guess I'm too tired of this. This is what's killing me.
Yeah. So
this is where I say, are you jumping? This is where I can agree with Tyler. Are you jumping off a bridge or are you jumping off a 100-foot drop? Which one are you gonna do? Which one do you feel is worse then? Like, do you get the iPhone 6 now, like my wife just did 2 weeks ago, or do I get the iPhone 6S, even knowing that a year from now I'm gonna get an iPhone 7?
So it's funny you should say that. It's funny you should mention that because Apple announced a new feature called the Apple Upgrade Program, wherein that you can get a new Apple every year direct from their Apple retail stores.
A new Apple? Do I get an
new iPhone?
No.
A brand new iPhone. It's an unlocked device. You choose your carrier. It includes Apple Care, and it will start off at $32 a month. So yes, get your iPhone 6S next week. And then a year from now, get your iPhone 7. And all you'll have to pay each month is effectively at least $32. And once you get into that kind of financial mentality of this is what I'm paying and I'm not going to leave Apple, that's how they keep the customer. And that is what other companies need to do to keep the customer. They need to make it easy to have the 2-year. T-Mobile has it up to. They do and they don't.
So right now with T-Mobile, what my wife is on and what I'm on, that's why I'm still just considering trading the G4 in for the Note 5. But we're on this jump on demand plan. We pay $15 a month plus our plan for $15 a month to keep the phone. We can trade the phone in with no tax, no added costs. Before it used to be with tax. Now, no tax or added costs. I can continue to pay $15 a month, take my phone in up to 3 times in a rolling 12-month period, and trade the phone in for another phone.
And that's the nice thing about T-Mobile.
I'm happy with that.
That's great about T-Mobile. But that's T-Mobile. That's the problem. That's a carrier-driven initiative. But
so
what's nice about
this $32 with the plan? How are you getting served with that?
No, so you don't pay. So what you're paying to T-Mobile right now is your plan and a monthly fee to pay off your phone. Whatever phone that you have, you're paying it off through T-Mobile.
Right.
Imagine that same amount that you're paying to T-Mobile in your monthly plan to pay off your phone. You no longer pay that to T-Mobile. You pay it to Apple. So it's the same amount that you're paying, but it's a contract that you've created. It's an agreement you've created through Apple.
So Apple has my monthly plan too?
No. T-Mobile has your monthly plan for your minutes and your data and your text messaging and your mobile hotspot.
But why should I pay more to Apple than when I'm paying to T-Mobile?
You're not.
I'm not paying $32. I'm paying $15.
You're paying $15 a month?
Yeah, with PHP. $15 PHP included.
What's PHP?
Phone handling protection. Or peripheral. They call it peripheral handling protection.
Okay.
That's their insurance plan. If I break the phone, I got a deductible. But if I break the phone, accidents, whatever, lose the phone, pay a deductible, get another phone. Manufacturer defects covered fully, no deductible. So I just to me.
I wonder
you're
how
right.
much
Maybe
that
that's
is.
Just T-Mobile.
Hello there. I was gonna say "Das vidanya," but that's goodbye in Russian. Spasiba.
Hi, and then there are Russian. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. So I think it's being translated, and maybe he's asking, "Are we in Russian?" I don't. I'm not. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And that's why it says Oz. Where I think he says sorry.
Yeah. So the last time I checked how much the monthly plan would be if you bought an iPhone through Verizon with the monthly plan, it was about $30 a month that you have to pay to Verizon.
Okay.
So the idea is you can either pay that $30 a month to Verizon or you could pay to Apple. T-Mobile seems to be the odd man out in a good way. So you can continue doing your thing with T-Mobile.
Yeah, and this plan just started in July. This whole program that they have, it's called. They used to have Jump, but now they have Jump on Demand.
Okay.
And it's only a few phones that you can get at the $15. I guess it was kind of in a promotion where you can
because
it is usually $25.
I wonder how much it is for the iPhone through the Jump on Demand. Then that's going to be one thing.
I mean, the iPhone 6 was usually $25. But for a promotion, you got it for $15, and you're locked into $15. So even if you trade it up, you still continue to pay $15. So that's why I told my wife, go get it now, because as soon as the next one comes out, even if my wife doesn't go get it, I'm sure my daughter's going to be like, yeah, I want the 6S. So like for Christmas, I can just take her to the store, pay absolutely nothing, and she thinks she's getting she's getting the gift. She just got to do good on her report card, and I'll take it to the store, and bam, you got the 6S now for Christmas. But I didn't pay anything more, and I'm only paying $15 a month for it.
So Tyler is saying he paid $50 to Apple. What the fuck?
I'm saying so that WTF actually means for me, you pay $50 to Apple. What the fuck for? Why'd you pay him $50? Is this $50 a month that you're paying to Apple? Because I would not do that.
Tyler.
So to wrap things up in Apple, beyond the iPhone, we find beyond the iPhone and then the iOS 9 that's updated for iPad, iPhone, and for some reason iPod Touch they're still supporting. I guess there's still the new ones, but they haven't announced a new iPod Touch either, which was again unlikely. Not talking anything about a Mac Mini and anything about.
I thought they announced new iPod Touch earlier this month or earlier this year.
They would. I thought they were talking about they were ending lines of iPod Touch.
They ended iPod. They definitely ended iPod Classic. That was the line that they ended.
Okay. Oh, so that was that one. But they announced a new iPod Touch then. Okay. Well. And then there's a long iCloud storage price dropping. If you're paying for cloud storage, send me a message. Because I feel sorry. Stop paying for cloud storage anywhere.
No, seriously. Yeah.
Anywhere.
Okay. Anyways.
Anywhere. Stop paying for cloud storage. Apple reveals, this is big, maybe answering to some of the Mac Pro users, Apple MacBook Air or Air. Is it still a MacBook Pro or is it just MacBook now?
They're still Pro.
Okay.
They're still Pro.
OS X El Capitan release date set to ship September 30th. Still can't understand why they say ship, but it will be available in the App Store.
We say Windows 10 ship.
I thought we say Windows release. 10 ship. We say release.
We say launch. Ship.
It's release or launch. I have not seen ship.
I say ship.
Launch or
That's
ship.
when you ship when you ship an operating system, when you ship software. That is the technical term when it's final build. For consumers, it's launch.
Okay.
And it's usually but it's usually when you ship it out to RTM, when you ship it out to OEMs.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. OTM. I think of RTMs. Yeah. Okay. So I guess on that industry level, it ships September 30th. You'll be able to get that El Capitan. So that should be fun.
You're commonly used, Andrew. Sorry, if people don't know, I know Andrew, so I can be hard on him.
Oh, both are commonly used. What he used next? Oh, I'm just going back here. So Tyler's actually paying $50 a month to Apple, not a mouth. Please don't pay a mouse to Apple. He's saying both are commonly used. I guess that comes in support of, what's he talking about? The MacBook or the MacPad? I don't know. Hey, Braz and Tony, say hi to us Twitchers. There are 4 people in the chat room. What's up, Twitchers?
Twitchers. Do we have to go back to Twitch to say hi to them?
No, we don't have to. We don't have to go back. I'm looking at that. No one's in the chat. Everyone's in the chat on YouTube.
Okay.
Welcome to YouTube. If you have not been updated on this, we have moved from Twitch to YouTube. YouTube live streaming, YouTube gaming. Still find it youtube.com/user/one-like-to-play/live. I still find that the shortest way is still youtube.com/one-like-to-play. We were a partner back in the legacy days, so we still hold that URL. A lot of channels I find have to put /channel or /user for some reason. But we are youtube.com/one-like-to-play, and you can still get to our live stream. We are building a community here, so we want you to participate not only in the chat room, but also in live comments. Hit us up on Twitter at @OneLikeToPlay or on Facebook @OneLikeToPlay. Tony, how can they find Lazy Tech Guys?
A lot of ways on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, Twitter. Did I say Twitter already? And
yes.
Pinterest and Twitter, and of course YouTube and Twitter. But on YouTube, it's a little different. It's LazyTechTV. So if you look in the corner over there, it says it right there, LazyTechTV.
Yes.
I'm on there a lot, doing a lot of reviews, phone reviews. My other colleague, who happens to be in the chat room right now, Andrew Lee, is Aoshi-san on Twitch, and he also has his own channel here on YouTube. On our channel, LazyTechTV, he does a lot of Let's Play, and currently, if he hasn't changed his game, he's doing Metal Gear Solid, he's kicking ass in that. And so go watch that when he streams, and you can find out like when he's going to be doing live streaming on that. I do live streaming as well too, though. Did you know this?
No.
I do live streaming on my phone.
And what are you live streaming? Oh, you're still using that app, huh?
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know about this app, there is a new app that was developed by the company called DNA. This app is called Mirrative. And the idea with Mirrative is it shares your whole screen. So I could be playing a game, and very similar to Twitch and YouTube gaming, I could play the game as I would, and then it turns on the front-facing camera, turns on the microphone, and you watch the gameplay, and you interact with me, and there's a chat and everything. So if you have an Android device, you could download Mirrative and then follow me. My name on that is Teen Ninja 3000, And you
See, that's what I didn't know. I did download the app.
okay, yeah. So you
But
can follow
no.
me, and then I do games like Riptide GP. I've also been playing a lot of Fallout Shelter. I'm gonna kick Andrew's ass because he's kicking my ass in Fallout Shelter. Um, he's got like 118 dwellers. I have no fucking idea on how he got that many. All of my dwellers died because they didn't have enough weapons. Anyways, that's beside the point. But then I also started a new game on Android that's called what's it called? It's called Give It Up. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna make you cry. Yeah. So
I knew you were gonna do it.
see?
I knew you were gonna do that.
of course I'm gonna do that. Rick rolled you all. See. So yeah, that's actually been a fun game, and not a lot of people have been watching me, but I've there's not a huge community on that. But if you think about it, it's kind of like the Twitch community where you can
archives too.
not yet.
I'm seeing your past episodes.
Can you watch them?
Yeah, it seems like I can.
Okay.
Let's play Give It Up. New game.
I'm never gonna give it. Okay. So I've been doing a lot of that, and then there's some of those streams that even my daughter gets involved in it, and it's fun. I had her play Riptide GP, and she's 3, so she has no idea what she's doing. It's like woo! She's just like making the guy go around, and yeah. But it's a fun app, and I would definitely, hey, One Left to Play just followed me. I will follow him back.
So
he seems like a good guy.
I see the past ones, but I can't click on them.
Yeah, so I've been in close contact with DNA about this application, and I asked them, do you have plans on like being able to save gameplay and things like that? And they said yes, but we're working on it because it's all about their cloud, about their servers, and what they can't support and things like that.
Yeah, maybe if you guys could see too. You know what? I don't have a hook. Next episode, I'm gonna hook up my wireless display adapter, and throughout the show, I'm going to show you guys what I usually do on my Android phone. A lot of it during the show, you may not see me. Sometimes you see me up here, or you might see me down here. But a lot of that is Clash of Clans.
Yeah, so you could live stream that.
Yeah, I'll actually be able to live stream. I have not done that yet with the new setup, but that is something that I used to do over on Twitch too, as I would live stream some Clash of Clans. I will also, rate people's villages and stuff like that. So that should be some good fun. I'll probably get some live streams on that too.
Andrew, that's a good question. If they're going to do a highlight feature, they might do a highlight feature. But again, when we could come up with a bunch of features that they should have and don't have yet, and I will push that forward to their PR team, and then I'll take all the credit. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Tyler, I will actually scroll back on this one. Give you a quick hand right here. Tyler and Play More. I guess this is your YouTube channel, or if you want to put your YouTube channel in there. Tyler Play and More says, "Wow, Cortana just heard." For some reason, Cortana just heard that.
Heard what?
Me saying something. Cortana searched for Android year-old Tyler and Play More. I guess this is. That's what Cortana just searched on Bing. She's going to get me in trouble one day. She's going to search exactly what I'm thinking out loud, and no one should know that.
What if she starts searching for stuff that you're thinking inside?
I'm afraid because it says Android year-old Tyler. I wonder what it's I'm looking for.
Well, I'm on Tyler's page, and he's been showing off some live stream gameplay, some bits of fun. That's cool.
So, guys, he says he needs 3 more subs till he gets to 95 subscribers.
How old are you, Tyler? You look like you're like 9. I'm saying bad words. Don't listen to me. I have a potty mouth.
Andrew Lee says burning with fire. I think he's talking about burn Cortana with fire.
No, I don't think Andrew has hate toward Cortana, or else he's not getting a ride to TwitchCon.
Oh, that is the episode. Marty Lardy just reminded the episode Insecurity from South Park. Yeah, that is the same. The computer just listening to me. I can't really think or say anything. It will know our thoughts pretty soon. So I guess that really wraps it up for us with Apple. All right, Apple iOS. Yeah,
Yeah,
iOS
that took up
9,
most.
Capitan.
That took up all of our time.
There we go. So yeah, Tyler's got a pretty cool channel here. We might need to enlist him in some One Life to Play work for some list plays. I'm just peeping out more of what Tyler has to offer here. So you guys can check out Tyler playing more on YouTube. That is literally his channel, Tyler Playing More. I'm gonna hit the subscribe for you.
Boom! Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Help him get to 95. That almost rhymed.
Almost.
Almost.
We'll throw down to get the effing phone right after next week in the show. So next week we'll do some Clash of Clans live streaming during the show. We'll talk about whatever gaming and tech news is up. If we don't have any other new conferences or anything else to cover.
When are we gonna stream? Because I know this week was a little weird because of the American holiday.
Yep.
Of Labor Day.
Yep. So next week we will still do Monday night. It will be 10 p.m. Pacific time, 1 a.m. Eastern time, maybe until about 1:30. We still haven't gotten our schedule down flat, but we are working on a lot of things. Last week, if you have been on the YouTube side, we did kick off back our Thursday night show, which we'll be doing again tomorrow night or today if you're on the East Coast, or even today if you're on the West Coast at this point. But on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. we will be kicking off our Time to Play series where you can watch the game, including myself, Luigi Eats Mushrooms, along with Mr. Double OP. We'll be playing some really key games, and I believe tomorrow we'll be playing, or today we'll be playing some Rocket League, along with some Rare Replay. So we'll be switching up between the PS4 and the Xbox One with some Time to Play series, including the game, discussing a little weekend gaming news, the three of us. And then next Monday, we'll be back for Get the Effing Phone with Tony Hannides from Lazy Tech Guys, again with Braz here, 10 p.m. Pacific time, 1 a.m. Eastern time. And again, that Time to Play tomorrow on Thursday kicks off at 7 p.m. Eastern time. It would be 4 p.m. Pacific time for you guys on the West Coast there. Outside of that, we want you guys to be sure to find us on Facebook and Twitter. You can see right there, it's at One Life to Play, at Lazy Tech Guys, and on YouTube at One Life to Play, which you're probably already at. Now we really don't have to focus on that because our new home is YouTube Gaming, so that's probably where you're already at. But you can check out other things over on YouTube, such as the fine folks over at LazyTechTV. Find out what they're doing, especially Andrew Lee, who's been playing that Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain, which I'll be checking out later this weekend because I'm still wondering if it's a buy for me or not.
Andrew, what do you say? Is it a buy?
Yeah, what system are you playing it on? Is that Xbox or is that PS4?
What, his Metal Gear?
Yeah,
computer.
Metal Gear. Oh,
Computer.
he's playing it on PC. Oh, see,
yeah.
I found I cannot play it on PC just yet. I did get that's what I forgot to mention. I got The Witcher 3 for a PC.
Oh yeah, how's Witcher 3?
Even though I got it on PC because I'm new to PC gaming, even as good as I feel my PC is, that game still runs at low to medium for me.
Oh god.
So I need to upgrade my graphics card. I'm looking at getting this 960.
You're gonna get out. Didn't you just upgrade your graphics card?
No, I didn't upgrade it. No, well, I mean, I upgraded it going from the MacBook to now a gaming PC, but I only have a 550 Ti in it right now. So I need to send it to. I'm going to get a 960. I found a nice compact one that'll fit in my HP Phoenix case. That's about 220. So I'm going to pick that up probably in about a month. So I'm going to wait to buy the major titles on PC, and I'm really trying to pick it up so I can get Fable Legends as soon as possible, because Fable Legends requires a 750. So I want to get kind of up there before I can do anything. Andrew Lee and Tyler are both apologizing to me. This is crazy. I say I have a
Braz.
What's
I'm
that?
sorry too.
You're sorry too. Everyone's sorry. So his friend's selling a 9 980 for 365. It has to be compact. I think that 980 is dual fan and it won't fit into my case. So I kind of looked into that. So I can't fit the 980. I'm either going with the 960, a 950 Ti, or just going with the 750 Ti. So one of those routes I'm going to take, and I'm going to get some upgraded PC games. But right now, not too happy with The Witcher 3 because I had to downgrade it. So I'm really only playing like MMOs and RPGs right now. Along, MOBA, of course, Heroes of the Storm. Watch me stream that. I have a 980 Ti. So wait, is the 980 compact, one fan, really short, stubby? If it is, go ahead and send me a message. You can send it in YouTube or you can hit me up on Twitter. Just follow, I'll follow back, and you can send me a direct message if you have a bead on a graphics card that I can put in my HP Phoenix case. Other than that, Tony, do you have any last words, any last things?
I died. Okay.
Died in what? What were you playing?
I was playing give it, never gonna give you up.
Never gonna give it up.
Make you cry. I'm still live actually. That's the cool thing. Like even when you exit the game,
I should check it out. I didn't even know you were live.
It's okay. Even after you exit the game, I'm still live. So for those of you that are watching, I've got 3 viewers right now. I'm actually demonstrating the power of narrative to YouTube. To the power of YouTube. So this is YouTube. Say hi, YouTube. Say hi, MirTube. Okay. But yeah, so I'll be doing that after I do dishes and after I do laundry, and it's close to it's after 1 o'clock here, so I'll be up late. But with regards to the rest of the things that here at Lazy Tech Guys, what we're doing, coming out with a couple of more reviews, coming out with some more application reviews, some phone reviews. I've got one kind of, I would say, a spotlight feature that's coming out on YouTube about a raising desk, one of those standing desks that are becoming very popular these days. So I'm going to do a spotlight on that. And yeah, LazyTechTV, and definitely if you're more into the gaming side of it, that's what we have Andrew for. Yeah,
there you go.
Now it's back to some Rickroll.
And if you need to get any more gaming outside of Lazy Tech Guys, you can always check out One Like to Play. Obviously, like I said, we have our Time to Plays on Thursdays. Live show for Get the Effing Phone will be Monday nights. A little bit iffy because of the holidays. And in between time, I'll obviously be doing some Clash of Clans and some Madden NFL 16 along with some other games that I choose and see fit. Tyler, dude, I'm checking out your channel, man. You're really on top of it. So continue doing what you're doing, buddy.
Keep it up, Tyler.
I'll be watching this because
looks like Andrew's gonna do some squad as well too. That's an alpha that he's been testing.
Oh, sweet! It's a game I haven't. Tyler's been playing a game I haven't seen before, so I'll be checking that out. But I'll also be checking out Andrew Lee over on LazyTechTV. Check that out as well on YouTube. Subscribe to all these awesome channels. And if you're watching the replay and you want your channel shout out, I'm thinking we should probably open up a little shout out segment.
Well, I do want to shout out to Marty. To Marty. So if you're interested in the stock market, Marty started his own channel. So Bruce Leroy. So just click on his channel, subscribe to that. He was our moderator over at Twitch, and if we can get a moderator here on YouTube, I'm sure we can figure that out as well too.
I haven't learned how to get moderators just yet on YouTube. They don't offer that. But what I am looking at, the only way I see now to look at that. The only way I'm seeing now to moderate in YouTube is to give you access to our channel. So that takes a little bit more than what we've had to go through for twitch.tv. But stay part of the community. If it's something that you guys are interested in or want to be a part of at One Like to Play, we're always on the lookout for great folks to help us out in what we do as far as streaming, giving great content, and being entertaining as well. So stay on the lookout for all that stuff.
Stay on the lookout.
Outside of all that, I appreciate you guys joining us over on YouTube. This is our new home, and it is new for us, new for you guys. But we appreciate you guys participating in our community. We hope to grow the community, spread the word. And like I said, we'll be working on maybe a shout out segment. So if you're watching this on a replay, if you want to drop us a message, you can do that in the chat. You can send us a message on YouTube or just hit us up on Twitter as well. Until next time, and in between time, do what I always do what you do best, and do what makes your lives even better and more fun. Game on.